right. I don't want people to be able to see my.
Here we go. Here we go. Hey, everybody. Zach Martin here. Kenneth, Rosa, hanging out. Kids deserve dads. How are y'all doing tonight?
I'm well. How about you, buddy?
I'm doing really good, man. Doing really good. I feel like you're super close, and I'm like a mile away from my computer. So, see, there we
But
are.
yeah,
Boom.
yeah, mine
You
all
shaved,
messed up.
you shaved your nose hair, so you're all right.
All right, cool, cool.
How you been, man? Happy
Good.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. I think this is my first live broadcast since June.
June, you're due, man. You're due. I know you were talking about doing one with uh Cash Jackson. He's got a lot of stuff going on right now, doing this blast about trying to get everybody to come in there with their messages about not getting to see their kids, how long it's been. So how
Yeah,
long has
so
it been since your kids? Well, you get to see your
I
oldest son, right?
well, I drove up and I did see Cash, and he did have a lot of stuff going on. So we hung out and had dinner, and I bought him something hot to eat, and we kicked it for a few hours, and then I drove all the way back from Chicago that night. So uh, yeah, he's got some things that are going on that are pretty interesting. But as far as my kids, the ones I'm alienated from, I haven't seen them in probably about 2 years.
Okay. Yeah, and we got your oldest son. We play fantasy football with him. So
Yeah, my
I guess
oldest.
he's playing, right? He's just getting his butt kicked, I think. So
Yeah, my oldest is he's a state trooper for the state of Missouri, so he stays pretty busy, but he is getting beat up in the fantasy football league.
yeah, man. Yeah, he is. Man, it's good to be here with you today, man. I'm looking forward to all the things we have going on. I wanted to come on with you today. I wanted to hear the stuff that you have planned, things you have going on. What's in the works?
So we're working on kind of like a media uh, group, right? We've got all these great personalities in the outer sphere of the family court corruption. Kids deserve dads, tough. You've got all these different great organizations, and we kind of want to umbrella them under a media group that has a good reach with the financial backing. So the issue that we all have is we get pummeled and beat up by the family courts, and then by the time we get to doing this, we're clandestine making these productions to have awareness. And so we want to make a professional. It takes money to beat money, and we're going against some of the biggest lobbyists and firms in the world that don't want to see kids have equal access to both parents, because the money is in the chaos and the conflict.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, having people fighting each other for years on end and maintain that fight is where the cash is at. So the lawyers know it, and that's why they set it up this way, right?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people like go to war with each other, and then once they cut the attorneys out of the mix, they kind of start getting along, and then their parenting time goes up, and then before you know it, like it's not a gang fight just to see your kids. It's like, hey, will you come by and pick him up at a certain time, and all that stuff. So you've had a little bit of success. There's some other parents out there that the court order is a minimum. It's not that shall be. It's what the minimum time the parent will have with the kid. That doesn't mean you can't give them extra time. So when people realize, like, you're really not punishing the other parent, you're just harming your kid. Oh, your dad only gets you every other weekend from this time to this time, and other than that, you're not seeing him. But that doesn't benefit your child in any way.
Right. No, like you can let them see him anytime you want to, right? And call the other parent and give them that opportunity to be the first person that they go to. The judges, what they rule is the least amount that they have to give, and it's always the bare minimum. I mean, you go to court, they don't give you any extra than that unless you agree on something. And if you're agreeing on it, you don't need to go to court. But the lawyers and stuff know that they're going to drag that thing out and keep you in that circus as long as they possibly can. So, yeah. Hey, I appreciate you too, Anthony, man. So glad to have you here. Glad to have all the other men here that support us and support making this movement happen, trying to make all these changes. We're changing the laws. Kenneth was huge in getting the laws changed in Missouri. I mean, I think one of the funniest stories, one of the best stories, and you might want to tell it, but is you having a connection with the senator, right? Like you guys being friends and pulling that string and making it happen. You want to tell us that story?
You want to hear that story?
Yeah, I love that story, man. It's like, you have a favorite story, man. Just tell me my favorite story again, please.
All right. So Missouri's kind of been hung up for the last 8 or 9 years. We never could get past the Missouri Senate to get the equal shared parenting bill shared or put into law. So there was a different issue that I was focused on, as well as doing the advocacy for equal shared parenting and fathers to have equal time with their kids. And so we held a town hall meeting, and there was probably like 750 people that showed up to this thing. And so I became really, really good friends with this lady who is a Missouri State Senator, and she's a little bit smaller. So I used to joke around because I would walk her to her car after every event, and she'd be like, "You don't have to walk me to my car," and I'd be like, "No, I feel bad if somebody stole you or something. So let me just walk you to your car." So the chivalry is not dead in some generations. So fast forward 2 or 3 years, and she became the first Missouri state, the first woman for the Senate Majority Floor Leader, which their job is to pull up the bills that they want to speak about and to vote on and to talk about, because you have this pile of bills. And so I called her and said, "Hey, that equal shared parenting bill you got, I'd really like to see that one go through." And I'll be damned if it wasn't the first time that ever passed the Senate. And then it got shot over to the House, and my buddy Mark Ludwig took care of it on the House side because he's got a lot of good connects over there. And so for the first time, we got equal shared parenting in Missouri.
Man, yeah, what a amazing feat that you guys had. I mean, years and years of work and dedication, and a huge group of guys. I mean, and women that were part of this group to get this accomplished. And you guys dedicated. I mean, how long were you involved in it? A decade?
No. So the bill started, I think, 9 years ago. I jumped in 7. And so, we've just been building the relationships to bring the attention into the forefront of what's been going on with it. And then, like I said, you got to build those relationships, because eventually that person may be the new Senate floor majority leader as the first woman in the state of Missouri, and she may be able to pull up a bill you need passed. Oh, we lost Zach. He'll be back. How you guys doing out there tonight? Throw in some comments. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Yep, Zach's gone. He'll be back. Any of you guys going to be able to see your kids for Thanksgiving, the holidays? This is always a tough time for there's Zach. I don't know what happened. I got kicked out. He'll be back in. Happy Thanksgiving, John. Tom's getting to see his kids next weekend. That's good. 2 of them, yes. 1 of them is in Florida. I'm super happy for you guys that are getting to see your kiddos for the holiday seasons. It's very tough when you don't. Like I said, I haven't seen my kids in a couple of years. They've now timed out of the system. I got my case ended a year early when the youngest one was 17 for what's called child support abatement. I hadn't seen him in a few years. So in Missouri, there's a law that if mom is blocking or cutting off contact then you can file to stop child support, which I did. And I'd be damned if, as soon as I filed to stop the child support, she didn't want to have a case with me as their father anymore. So I don't get to see him. Might as well not be paying exuberant amount of money. And we ended the case a year early. They still live with their my co-parent. So it's not really much of a relationship there, even though they're grown. And it's unfortunate. So I definitely know what it's like for you guys to go through the holiday seasons with wanting to be around your children but can't. John says he doesn't know if he could go that long. So luckily, man, mine wasn't all at once, right? So I would go like 6 or 7 months and wouldn't get to see him. And then I'd get to see him for 2 or 3 parental visits. And then it'd be another 6 or 7 months. And then she'd go file some type of restraining order or some frivolous crap. And that would take 6 or 7 months. And so mine wasn't all at once. But then once it became all at once, I went about a 2-year period. I got to see him for about a 6-month period, and then it's been at least 2 years since I've seen either one of my kids since. So definitely know what that feels like for you guys, man. And it's rough. But the problem with that is like, my separation from my kids for years at a time. There's dads out there that haven't seen their kids in decades, so it's hard to compare like traumas. We're in here comparing traumas, but we shouldn't have to. We should all have equal access to our kids. And so Missouri finally has that. Jeffrey says, my oldest daughter just beat cancer. My ex has been making it difficult for me to see her. That's very unfortunate that even in a time of family crisis, right? Because that's a crisis for one of your children to have cancer. And I'm very thankful that she beat it for sure. So she's definitely a fighter and a survivor. But like, wouldn't that be the time to unite around the child, make sure that it has all of the love, even if it's if the kid's older than 18, if it's 19, why can't you put aside your petty differences and just be there for the child in its time of need, for especially as excruciating of an event is trying to beat cancer and stuff. So I'm not a psychologist or a doctor, but I just don't understand these parents that can't put aside their behaviors. We'll call them behaviors, to make sure that they have both loving parents or as many loving people as they can have in their lives. It just makes no sense to me. But there's books out there, and it's a very deep rabbit hole to dive into on those type of behaviors and what you can and can't do. And like, for instance, here's something that I didn't know until, someone had showed it to me a while back. I'd go 6 months, 9 months, a year without seeing my kids, and then I'd see them. So, you want to share that moment with the world, and I'd take a picture with them, and then I'd post that up on Facebook, and I'd be like, oh my God, I got to see my kids, and that's like a happy moment for me. And that's like a happy moment for my family and everybody that we, our friends and family. But in reality, my kids would go back and then they would get punished for that. Right. So then they don't want to come around because it becomes too much of a drain on their life. Oh, every time I go around dad, it's a big old deal. I get screamed at, I get grounded. So that was something that I had to learn later on is that when I do see them, you don't always have to post a picture up, because they're literally getting the bad end of the stick for having communication or a relationship with you. John says we shouldn't have to. That's right. We're now to 10% of the United States that have an equal shared parenting law. Kentucky was the first, Arkansas, West Virginia, Florida, now Missouri. So I know there's a lot of states that are trying to make a run for it in 2024 to catch up to the first 5 states that have equal shared parenting. So hopefully we can add 5 or 10 more. I would encourage you guys to get to know your legislators, see which ones support it and which ones don't, and make a run in your state if you don't have it. I guess Zach's gonna make it back in. That's all right. I've carried a few broadcasts by myself before. Mr. Probst, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Hoping that you're going to have a wonderful Thanksgiving with the fam tomorrow and you're not too busy working and making all them bucks. So you guys got any questions for me? Like where I came from, experience, anything. Like I can answer for you guys. Throw them up in the comments. We'll get them answered for you if I can. It was definitely a long, hard, forsaken road to go through the family courts. What color socks do you have on? Tan. They're tan. Oh, here we go with the tribalism. Go Birds. Yeah, I'm still salty over that beating we got. Was not a good game on Monday. Was not a good game. I need 3 to 5 more business days to get over it. I made a lot of friends in this community and a lot of connections. A lot of prominent people. A lot of people that are just like me that just wanted to be fathers and go on with their lives and made a lot of different friends and connections. So it's good to see a lot of people that I know. Yeah, we're gonna go with the Eagles. We're still going with the Eagles. That's all right. Yes, I like this comment. The Chiefs are coming with the revenge in the Super Bowl, baby. Let's go for what it would be 3 out of 4 years. That'd be a good start. I grew up in Kansas City, so I've always been a lifelong fan. That's why I'm still a Chiefs fan. I got a lot of friends that are Eagles fans too. Good friend of mine, Dante Palmer. He lives in Florida now, but he grew up in Philadelphia. So we like to kid around on Facebook about who's got the better team. And I met him through this community as well. You know, he posted a viral video. Let me go see what his organization is now that I'm talking about him. He posted a viral video of him in a stall changing his son's diaper, and Squat for Change, that's what it is. Anyway, so his purpose is to get men's changing stations into all of the men's bathrooms so that fathers can be taken seriously as parents, and we have the same facilities that mothers do to help us facilitate the cleanly hygiene of our children. So it's a really good organization. Welcome back, Zach. Welcome back.
What's up, man? Yeah.
Oh, God, he's gone again. He's gone again. He's going to have to stop playing with the buttons. That's what's going on. It's brand new software. He's learning how to figure out how the software runs. So, man, I'm sorry, John. Your team is second worst record in the league right now. So you guys, I feel for you, man. You guys have been on the top of the mountain for 2 decades. Now you're in the basement. Let's go. How can parents move forward and quit being scared of the courts? Empower, educate, and remember your passion before the mess. Right. So that's a lot to break down. We get stuck in this battle that we're getting beat down, and the courts are just absolutely against you. And it's not necessarily anything that you did. There's just a lot of money that's being made from the federal government. They literally pay to separate the children from the fathers through the Title 4D and 4E and all this monetary system. So people are catching on to that, and so they're making the awareness like that this is a racket that the courts are facilitating on us to keep us away from our children, and it's really not that hard. to not separate kids from their parents. You know, you get dad, he's got 4 days a month, and mom's got 26 days a month. Well, why does she have to be burdened with the whole child rearing experience? Just so the state can make money. And the way they trigger those incentives is for the Title 4D, and you have to have a disparity in overnight. So dad can have 16 days, but if he doesn't have any overnights, he's not getting any credits taken off of the child support. So you just really kind of got to know your rights, even if you're not a pro se guy like me. So I had an attorney, I fired him, them. It was a team of attorneys. I got a second attorney, and they were kind of incompetent about the whole thing. But I'm not so sure later that it was incompetence. I think it's just how they operate and how they work. So I hired a third attorney. I spent about $47,000 getting divorced. That was whatever. Then I spent probably close to $250,000 trying to see those kids, right? Because mom would go file these restraining orders, and then you got to go hire an attorney to combat that. That would take $12,000 or $15,000 every time. And so even though I had those attorneys, right, I need to know that what my state laws are, what the rules and regulations are in that state, what the parental interference is, things of that nature. So you kind of got to educate yourself and give yourself a crash course in how your state functions and what the laws are, even if you do have an attorney, because how do you know if they're blowing smoke up your skirt if you don't know what your rights to the children are and how to enforce those? So you really, education is key to empowering yourself to not get ran over by these courts. John says, I used to always ask where the change of tables were years ago with my kids, and they started popping up. Yeah, that's a good thing. I don't think they were around as much when I was having kids. My youngest one should be 8 this coming year. So it's more prevalent, though. You know, when you go into a gas station, you see the changing tables. So that's a good thing, I think, right? Men should have the same needs and necessities for the hygiene of their kids. So I definitely support Dante and his squat for change on that. You guys are taking a break from winning after 20 years. Got it. Are we working on stopping the government from getting paid from child support? So, like I said, it's a federal program that is incentivized. There's a whole lot of money that exchanges hands. It's called Title 4D. What it is that the federal government pays the state for 66% of their worker fees. So let's say, you know, the state has 5 people that work on your case to collect your monthly child support. The state turns in a bill to the feds, and the feds reimburse them 66 cents on the dollar for that money. It's about $90 billion split up in between the 50 states. It's a huge sum of money. So you've got all these people working for the state for free, and that's all they do is run around and collect child support. Notice how they don't have an office to enforce parental time, though. And that's more important than the money, because they've shown through the studies and things like that, you know, the child support will not and does not bring most of these parents out of poverty in any shape, form, or fashion. The child is still in poverty. You're forcing dad to have, you know, if he's paying for 2 homes at the same time, you know, now his life is very much more difficult. And so the kid doesn't have a good life at either home. It's actually a study out there from a woman's group that shows that if the mom shares custodial time, she is 70% more likely to be a 6-figure earner if she has equal shared parenting with the father, because she has time to go back to school, educate herself, has time to make connections, has time to make friends, things like that. So you're not burdening her with the entire child rearing experience, except for 4 days of vacation that dad gets, you know, because he gets to be a Disneyland dad and run around with his kids. But it doesn't have time to parent. We don't get to tuck him in. You know, that gives us 2 nights a month, if you're lucky, to put your kids in bed, you know, kiss them goodnight, and get them up for the next day for church or whatever you may do on Sundays. But it's not a good system that we have in there, and we have a better plan. We know a way forward. All of the data from the states is coming in now, and it makes life better for everybody. Like the Kentucky data and the Arkansas data proves what we always knew. If you split the time with the parents, child abuse goes down, domestic violence goes down, litigation goes down, which is what they did not want, because now we don't have to fight each other to the death like we're a bunch of fighting dogs to get custody of our kids. All right,
yeah.
back one more time.
We'll see how it goes. Dude, technology, man. I'm in my parents' house hanging out in the dining room, and I mean, gorgeous background, but crappy cell coverage. So
just stop touching all the buttons. You're doing too much.
Hands up. Hands up. Don't kick me out.
Mr.
Man.
Chuck.
Rosa,
good
Chuck,
to see
man.
you. Chuck's a good guy. I don't know which one's coming to who first, but I'm gonna go see him next year, or he's gonna come see me. One of the two.
Where's Chuck live?
Chuck lives in Virginia, so hopefully it's with his kids. He hasn't seen his children in 1,574 days. Yeah. Isn't it strange how a parent, we know those days to the number?
Yeah.
Like we can tell you the exact day of the last time we've seen our children.
Yeah, man. I was talking to my son's mom. We were talking about, our good relationship, and it's pretty good for the most part. It's always ups and downs. She was telling me how she's going to go 11 days without seeing him over this Thanksgiving break and stuff. And worked on giving her some time, but it didn't work out for us to meet up. But she was going 11 days. She's like, man, you're going to miss him for a couple weekends, and you're going to miss not getting to, see him and stuff. And you don't know what it's like to not have 11 days. And I was like, I had 37 days one time, and I mean, not that 37 days is a lot, like, especially when you compare myself to Chuck, but it was a long time. It was when he was like 9 months old that I went 37 days without seeing my son. And it's just wrong that we have to even have that kind of stuff anyways. I mean, a holiday break is a holiday break. That makes a little bit of a difference, but there's no reason to go 37 days, and there's absolutely zero reason to go 1,574 days. It's terrible.
Like I said, I don't like to compare traumas because I know Chuck is really hurting. I definitely know what it's like to go that amount of days without seeing your kids. And then, when they do pop up, me, I filed all of the interference with parental custody, interference, police reports. They wouldn't take the police reports. I made them take them. Had her prosecuted. The prosecutor wouldn't prosecute her, even though it's a crime in Missouri to do that. I've state sued the GAL and the therapist and pretty much anyone else that's touched my case. Now we're moving to federal court. Like, this shouldn't happen to people. It just shouldn't happen to people. And it's just atrocious when we have to go through these things. I'm not an attorney, but I've seen Chuck's case, and it's a very egregious case of systematic abuse against him and his children.
Yeah. Yeah, and the judge just all cares about getting it through, right? We already made a decision. I'm not going back on my decision. Figure it out. Just figure it out. And the judges don't want to get involved, right? And if you got to force them to get involved in these kind of cases. I think this is a spot where you need to have, like, there needs to be penalties. The parents that don't give their kids to the other parent without, like, a valid reason, like they're abusing their kid physically, emotionally, sexually, whatever. You gotta get the kids to them, and otherwise, it's gotta be a penalty.
So I think they did something like that similar in Texas this year. So while we got the equal shared parenting bill passed, my guy Robert Garza down there in Texas, he got that time taken time back. So if the parent is withholding in the state of Texas now, they're required by law to make those days up.
Right.
And that's as it should be. Like, it's a shame we have to have a law to tell you that should be common sense, but that should be all 50 states, It
should be all 50 states. It shouldn't have to be a law to make it happen. It should just be what happens. And unfortunately, the judges don't do that. And I'm interested to hear how it goes forward in Texas. Are the judges going to go through it the right way? And how long are they going to push those cases out? You might go 9 months, a year, 2 years before you even get to see a judge and they make a decision on that. And, and then at that point in time, are they going to give you your, every other weekend? Are they going to make up those weekends? How are they going to actually enforce that law and make it actionable?
So the teeth they threw in came from a different bill that didn't have anything to do with the time taken time back bill. They put in another bill, and I hate to, it's a monetary penalty. So the cops show up, and it's, it is a felony. You can go to jail for a felony in Texas for interfering in the non-custodial parent's time. And there are, I don't know how many counties are in Texas, but there are like 3 or 4 that are very well known that, like, if you're messing with the parent's time, they're going to arrest you and take you to jail if you don't turn the child over. So they've implemented a ticket system now. It's a $500 fine. The cops show up, give you a ticket, just like you would if you were in a traffic violation. And, you have to go to court and explain to the judge why you aren't guilty of that or whatever for the $500 fine. But you get one of those $500 tickets, right? And you actually have to cough up $500. Are you really playing around with the kid next time? Or are you going to be there to drop them off? Because $500 is a good chunk of change. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to see that money go to the state, but at the same time, you got to have some teeth behind these laws to enforce what should be common sense.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there needs to be like a 3 strikes you're out kind of bill, like, hey, pay a fine, go to jail, lose custody, and stop messing around. Like, if you can't do the right thing, we give you a bare minimum amount of time you got to give your kids to the other parent. If you can't do the right thing, at least give them that amount of time, then you don't get to have the right to be the custodial parent. You've abused your privileges, and your kids deserve better. So let the other parent have the opportunity to go out there and prove themselves and do the right thing, and I think my partner in my non-custodial is Alicia. She's the prime example. I mean, she had a chance to go and take her ex-husband to the cleaners and get everything. And being so gracious, she's like, hey, I don't even want to go to court. Let's just do shared parenting. Make shared parenting for our family, because that's what I wanted from the very beginning. And he agreed to it. And they got a great relationship now. And I mean, they don't have a great relationship, but the kids have a great relationship with both of them. And they get to have both their parents. And that's amazing. And that's what kids need. They do better with both of them. No question.
That's exactly what kids need. I've said this for the last 4 years since I've been doing these broadcasts and running social media. At one time I did run the largest social media shared parenting community in the world. I've said it, and I'm going to keep saying it. Show me a societal issue, and I'll show you kids that don't have access to their father.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, it's true. All the stats, man. Everything shows kids need to have their dads. If their dads are around, that's not going to have all the problems. Without having their dads, they're going to jail. They're having teen pregnancies, all the bad things, drinking, drugs, you name it, they're doing it because they don't have that influence of a dad being around to help show them the way. So
we always talk about, like, how do we keep all these people out of prison? Because, we've got all these people that are incarcerated. The United States of America is the #1 place to get incarcerated in the world. Yet the one stat that they don't push to the forefront is 81% of everybody in that prison don't have a relationship with their father. 81%. So I can take 81% of everybody out of the prison population from the jump by giving them equal access to their father, and that solves that societal issue.
Right. There's a lot of money putting people in little cells and giving them crappy food. So
we don't want to get into the for-profit prison system.
Right. It's like goes hand in hand with the for-profit child abuse system here, family courts. So, hey, I'm going to jump off, Rosa. Love to hear all the stuff you're going to be doing. Tell everybody what's coming up here next. And I'm going to go get on my mastermind with a good group of guys here right now. So have a good night, man. See you soon.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you. Talk to you soon. All right, guys, we were just jumping in here, giving you guys a chance to come holler at us for a minute. We were working out the software. As you can see, Zach was having some issues, so hopefully he got it all worked out on the bugs on his end. I'm going to be doing these programs every Wednesday night, so I'll see you guys then. We're going to be bringing back some attorneys. Attorneys are not my favorite type of people, but there are some good attorneys out there. And so we want to give their knowledge to you guys. So I think we're going to do that on Tuesday nights from here on out. And we'll see how that shakes out. But that should start next week, I believe, as well. You can't make up for missed time. You definitely can't. You know, they don't stay little. And I seen a stat the other day that, like, you know, by the time your kid is 18, you get like maybe 12%. You'll see your kid 12% of the rest of their life. So, you know, by the time the child's 18, everybody talks about, oh, well, just wait till the kids are 18. They'll come back. You're getting 12% of the kid's life if you're able to repair that relationship. That's not an acceptable outcome. Kids Deserve Dads is an awesome platform, and I'm glad you're here doing this, Rosa. Yeah, so they've got this LinkedIn on the Tough site. They've got this LinkedIn on the Kids Deserve Dads. It's on the Kids Deserve Dads YouTube page. I look for it to be broadcast to a couple of more different platforms in the future, Chuck. So, like I said, we're working on a few things to make this the biggest media conglomerate out there, because if we can put enough people's attention on egregious cases like yourself and all these other fathers that won't be seeing their kids for the holidays, maybe we can end this travesty. I haven't talked to Amanda, but I'm going to talk to her as well over at the Equal Not Less Foundation or project and see about linking them up and getting on their platform as well. We'd like to drive some traffic back to her as she gets going at the beginning of the year. The Equal Not Less project that I am a board member of. So they help dads that are in Texas and Alabama. I think it's the two states that, you know, they can't afford to keep fighting the good fight in these courts, because, you know, you get drained of all your money and then all of a sudden your lawyer dumps you. So they help dads, you know, do their paperwork and stay active in their kids' lives over there as well. So I think we're going to add them to the platform. And then we've got some other partners that we're working with. So I look for it to get pretty big in 2024, really.
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
Siri don't know about it, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get pretty big in 24. All right, you guys got any questions, anything you want to throw up on here, man, right before I jump off? I appreciate you guys spending, I don't even know how long we've been on here, a few minutes with us. It's been about 35 minutes, I guess. Anything else? You guys got questions or anything you want to talk about right before we get off here? I do hope you get to see your kids over the holiday. Happy Thanksgiving to all of our viewers from all of the platforms, Kids Deserve Dads, The Tough, and everywhere else. Are you hearing any stories of success in reunification therapy? So it literally depends on the professionals that you have involved in your case, whether they take it serious or not. I know you've been through a ton of reunification therapy, and you're not having a whole lot of good luck with that. So hopefully, you know, we can, or you can, make some impact and some leeway on that in 2024 for sure. No dads that have to go 1,574 days without seeing their kids. But the reunification therapy, it just depends on the professional you got involved with it. You know, are they a state paid worker? Are they an outside source? You know, what is their objective and their goal? Are they really wanting to put the kids back together with the parent that they're alienated from, or are they just collecting a check too? Where are you guys all spending your Thanksgiving at? If you're not seeing your kids, that's something I can ask you guys. Are you meeting up with friends and family? You roughnecking it by yourself? Are you cooking at home? Like, what you guys' plans for the next tomorrow? Where are you going, Chuck? You staying home and you going to deliver some plates, or how's it going for you, buddy? John says he's meeting up with some family, so that's good. I see your little kids in the background there, John. They're cuties. Watching the Chiefs win. They didn't win on Monday. I was heartbroken. And feeding the less fortunate dads. You got a good thing going there, man. I'm really proud of all of the leeway you're making for your fellow human beings while you're being dumped on by a crazy family court, especially with the charity work you're doing. You got a good thing going there, Chuck. I'm proud of you, man. Just had movie night with my older two. That's always fun, man. I live in St. Louis, and none of my kids live here. Well, my youngest two that still live with me live here, but none of my kids live by St. Louis. So they're the two that I'm alienated from. They're about an hour away, and then my oldest two are they're down at Lake of the Ozarks, so about 3 hours away. Learn from the GOAT. You're going to make some headway in 2024. Keep grinding, my dude. I don't have the pressure on me that you do, buddy. You're doing all the right, jumping through all the right circus hoops, and they're not letting you make some headway. So we got to get something to change for you in 2024 for sure. But there's a lot of things going on. Zach's in like he said, he's in a mastermind group with some other good dudes that are counseling other guys and stuff like that. So maybe you guys, next time you see him on here, you can ask him about his mastermind group. What state's Chuck in? Chuck's in Virginia. What state are you in, John? Trial date was set for April 2024. Shaman busting his butt, getting me ready. Good for Zach. Mastermind sounds awesome. Massachusetts. Okay, so now the Patriots thing makes a little more sense. Yeah, he's out on the East Coast with you down in Virginia. I'm not sure which part, but not too far. Well, I guess I'm going to bounce off of here and see what we can get going. Like I said, I appreciate you guys giving me 45 minutes of your time tonight, hanging out with me. I hope you guys all have a great Thanksgiving, even if you don't get to see your kids. Don't ever give up on yourself, man. Even when they beat you down, never, ever give up on yourself. It does get better, I promise you. The last 2 years, I've been able to successfully rebuild a company, that I lost during the divorce and custody processes and all that stuff. So it does get better, I promise you guys that. So just hang out. Never check out on us, man. We need you in the fight. Good to meet you, John. I don't think I've ever seen you on any of the platforms before, but good to meet you, brother. And Chuck, I love you, man. So, there's Brian. He's jumping in. Yeah, let me talk about that before we bounce out. We still got a couple people on here. Brian's hosting a Christmas schedule or Christmas program. So he runs a program every year on the RFIRN. Let me see what that stands for. I should know this. What does RFIRN stand for? I don't have the link. Go to a page and you'll find it. I'll put the link up in the comments for you guys that want to join in. Anyway, over on his RFIRN network, He hosts a Christmas program every year. Basically, it just runs for 24 hours the entire day of Christmas because Christmas is hard for a lot of dads. There we go. Restoring Families Internet Radio Network. But anyway, a lot of dads don't get to see their kids on Christmas. He hosted a 24-hour marathon, so it gives you something to pay attention to other than the fact that you can't see your kids. You get to interact with some other great people. We're going to start taking video segments and giving them to Brian to chop up. So if you are interested in like doing a 15-minute shout out to other dads and stuff, reach out in the comments or on the Kids Deserve Dads or the Tough page, and we'll see what we can do about getting you a segment on there to give some Christmas cheer to other fathers and alienated moms out there. You know, there are some moms that don't get to see their kids the same as us, predominantly men, but there are some women that are affected by it. It's not cool for anybody. So yeah, check it out. We'll definitely put the link for the Christmas program up in the comments and give you guys something to do for Christmas. There it goes. Brian just threw it up in there. Appreciate you for that, B. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys get out of here. 46 minutes of your time. Appreciate all you guys. There's the link. If you want to tune into the Christmas program on Christmas Day, that will be on there. And I'll see you guys next week. Appreciate every one of you. Talk to you soon. Bye.